Hey Ma, do you know what bursts my bubble?
What bursts your bubble?
And I've discussed this countless times since 2011 throughout the years, but thinking people are monsters behind a mask who get perverse sexual pleasure from my suffering, whether it's you, Dad, my stepfather, women watching me online, psychiatrists.
Why do you think that is?
I think ultimately I've been involuntarily celibate for like my whole life. Obviously, I feel as though people are getting sadistic pleasure from my suffering. I feel people are creating a facade. They're trying to help me, but secretly they're getting sexual pleasure from my suffering. But what I'm told by psychiatrists, for example, am I really suffering? Yes. Do I really desperately need a love life and to socially engage? Yes. But my mother, stepfather, father, women online, nobody gets perverse pleasure from my suffering. I'm projecting my suffering, which I really am. I really am suffering. I really am frustrated. I'm projecting that into...
And unhappy.
And unhappy, and I'm projecting that into their minds. You know, nobody's getting perverse pleasure from my suffering.
No, if anything, they suffer with you because they love you.
Right.
They say at the end...
Right. Is there a memory in my mind of people getting pleasure from my suffering? Yes. The bullies in school. The bullies in school from over 20 years ago did indeed sadistically persecute me, did indeed get pleasure from my suffering, and it's etched into my psyche. I mean, without a doubt...
So I see that. I do.
Without a doubt, the bullies did get pleasure from my suffering. And that's what bullies intend to do. Bullies intend to cause harm. Bullies intend to cause damage. They say, do your parents are your parents hurting you with intentionally? No, that's the key difference. The bullies intended to hurt me.
Absolutely.
My parents aren't, monsters behind a mask, sadistic deceivers who are getting perverse pleasure from my suffering. But the bullies, I don't know if the bullies necessarily, but they were getting pleasure from hurting me. You know what I mean?
But as a parent, you would take down anybody that would hurt your child. I mean, that's instinctual in most parents.
Right. So
so that's a big thing to remember.
Right.
That bullies are bullies throughout life. They don't necessarily have to be young or old. I've seen them throughout life. And I go out of my way.
I know some people say once a bully, always a bully, but I also believe people can evolve and not be
grow up
and not be the sadistic persecutors they once were, and like maybe find born again Christianity or something to that effect. I think there's a movie, Anger Management, with Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler was getting bullied in his childhood, and he goes and confronts his bully in adulthood, and it turns out the bully's now this man of peace and this religious man, and
it happens, but
basically, it's a comedy, obviously, and it's a fictional movie. But basically, what he finds out is the person who bullied him has completely evolved as a person and isn't the persecutor he once was.
And that can happen.
Yeah.
But it's usually the dynamics is a family dynamics. If you're a loving, kind person, usually you were brought up by people that love and are kind to you.
And sometimes people could bully you, and they could be getting bullied by their people at school, and they might do something that is kind of like a jerk to you, and they might be in a really toxic, hostile kind of situation, and they might do something wrong, and you might later discover, all right, once they get out of that situation, they're actually a really nice person. So, it really all depends, but...
Yeah. Did you ever hear the phrase, hurting people hurt people?
Yeah, hurt people hurt people.
Hurting people hurt people.
Right. That is what it is.